Kahalo Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone of Ruel. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. This is another quick one. I'm at the plantation, but I needed to get this one out, while spirit was on me. I may or may not let this thing fully play all the way through, and then we'll make our point and get our scriptures. We'll see, but let's get into it,
So I've already been losing followers recently. I don't give a fuck. I'm not here for the numbers. But after this one, I'll probably lose a few more. But I'm fucking heated. And this isn't like a call out or call in. This is just a fucking reality check for other white people. We do not get to label anybody in the black community anything based on what they choose to do with the vote. We have to realize that regardless of the outcome of this fucking election, there is going to be violence.
And that's really what I just wanted to hone in on, the violence, either direction we go, whether it's the pretend black woman or DT that gets in. Objectively speaking, outside of the truth, pretend this place is going to continue on and pretend, that things are on the up and up, then, Trump would be the better vote. But we understand that it doesn't matter. And he's going to go into that as well. Doesn't matter who's in. The Lord wants this place to descend into the prophesied chaos that it's going, and it's just going to do it. Whatever avenue it takes, right? We prophesy in part, we know in part, roughly paraphrase. So whatever avenue it goes, but just understand it's going to go.
Potential violence, very real violence carried out against black men, women, and children. More than usual. Because if Trump wins, that brings about a violent America. We've already seen that. If he loses, then the meltdown from white people is going to be insane because they will not accept that he is lost to a black woman, which means violence will also come out of that. And while y'all are out here moral grandstanding and fucking doing these purity tests, at the end of the day, this shit will not affect us. The outcome of the election will not it will not carry the weight of violence that it will carry out against black people. Come the fuck back down to reality right now. Stop policing what black people do with their vote. Period. Because at the end of the day, violence is going to come out, and it's not going to be violence towards us. And so, first of all, no, the majority of white people keep, whoever's talking about revolution, y'all don't know what the fuck it takes. You aren't ready. You can't even have a conversation with your other white family members about racism without melting down, without getting scared, but you think you're going to overthrow the fucking government. Please be.
Hey, they damn sure going to try. The Lord going to put a spirit on it. So I want to show you. Here we go. These are race riots, and I just typed in race riots. Okay, I didn't even get specific because, for one, some aren't even listed. Look at this list. This is just within the 1900s, right? So we'll keep it that way. We won't even go. Actually, no. Fuck it. July 30th, 1866. Mob of white men acting with the compliance and even the aid of local civilian authorities and the police attacked newly freed Americans in the urban New Orleans. The mob murdered 35 black citizens, wounded more than 100. I wonder why. And it's always, we believe you assaulted this white woman. Or maybe they just didn't, prosper. The towns that prospered, there were many, the Black Belt in Chicago. People always talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma, but there were many thriving cities that ended up bombed or burned or destroyed. Lakes used to be black towns. One of the most popular ones you hear about, especially as of recent times, are Lake Lanier. Okay. Los Angeles Chinese massacre, Colfax massacre, white militia, 150 so-called African Americans attempting to surrender. All right. And there's a, render unto them double, right? The same merciless acts that you commit, all that your lack of mercy is going to be returned upon your head. Just know that. Rock Spring Massacre. All right. 28 Chinese people. Bloodiest massacres against Chinese immigrant Americans. Wounded Knee. That one's really popular as well. 150 to 300 Lakota people, including women and children. All right, massacre was the climax of U.S. Army's late 19th century efforts to repress Plains Indians. Williamton Coop Massacre. Political coup. All right, Republican and populist city government. North Carolina was violently overthrown on November 10th, 1898. As many as 60 black Americans were killed in a premeditated murder spree that was that was the accumulation of an organized statewide campaign to eliminate so-called African Americans' participation in government and permanently disenfranchise black citizens. Atlanta race riot. White mobs inflamed by newspaper reports of black men attacking white women. So, as we said across the pond, I made a video before that, across the pond, they just needed a word. They just needed a reason. It don't gotta be true. Does not have to be true at all. They just need a reason. And it can start with the immigrants, but it always will end with you, Jake. Okay? The famous rapper from my home, Texas, Scarface, always said America's known for blaming us niggas for their fuck-ups. Roughly, or that's not roughly paraphrased. That's exactly what he said. Excuse my French is what I meant to say. Springfield race riots triggered by the transfer of black prisoners charged with raping white woman, which was more than likely not true. I'm willing to stake that it was 92% untrue. Springfield, Illinois. Entire Illinois state militia was required to quell the frenzy of the mob, which shot innocent people, burned homes, looted stores, and mutilated and lynched 2 older black residents. Like I said, these people are their ancestors, right? And that old spirit of these devils is going to come out. All right, the Lord said it was going to happen. It's going to happen, and Jake is going to fight back. Jake has always fought back. It's just, in these times, it's a little different, we got a little bit more of a means to do what we need, or to do what they need to do, not we. East St. Louis, right? You can read that. All right. Porvenir Massacre, Texas Rangers. 15 boys and men of Mexican descent. It's in their blood. It's in their nature. Chicago race riot. Ocoee massacre. Tulsa race massacre, right? That's another. Rosewood is another one. Harlem. All right, theft of a pen knife from a store. Rumors of police brutality. All right. Zoot Suit riots. If you don't know nothing about that, you need to look into that as well. Especially, specifically dealing with Issachar. Another Harlem race riot. Watts riots, of course, in 1965. Detroit. Los Angeles in 1992. And other things that haven't been mentioned before. So let's see what else he's going to
So fucking honest with yourself. There's so many white people right now that are so fucking delusional. Y'all want to run around and call black people this, or that. If they choose to vote for Kamala Harris, if they choose not to vote, if they choose to vote third party, whatever. That's not our fucking business. We are in this place. All this self-hatred is coming out so heavy right now from white people. Because the reality is, the reason there are genocides in all these different countries is because of white supremacy, which is an us problem. And so everybody that's angry right now should be angry at white people.
Yeah, the scriptures say the tongue shall fall upon themselves. He may not even be an Edomite. You know, that accountability is not their strong suit, or honesty is not their strong suit. Um, now, uh, I want to read 2nd Ezra 15 in the GNT. You ought to read it side by side if you have, like a multiple screen computer, a dual screen monitor, or however you want to do it. But read it side by side, okay? But I'm going to read it in the GNT, and it's going to go from 1 to maybe 17. We'll read the whole thing. 'Cause I do have a little bit of time, but not too much time, but I'm going to read fast. All right. The Lord says, proclaim to my people prophetic message that I will give that I will give you, and then have them written down, because they are true and will be fulfilled. They are true and will be fulfilled, right? So ain't no ifs, ands, or buts, ain't no way around it. Don't be afraid of those who plot against you, or be disturbed by their unbelief. Okay, and when he's talking, if we were linking this to right now, he's talking about the elect. Okay, those are the only people are making it out of here. And if you die on this side within the truth with your integrity intact, you still win. And I have to tell myself that, tell yourself that as well, because you don't know the panic that you'll be in. You don't know the state of mind that you'll be in when the situation arises. Okay, so it's important to remain humble. It's important to understand that you can be put in any type of situation, but your faith and integrity must remain intact. Okay. Verse 5, the Lord says, I'm going to bring a terrible disasters on the whole world, war and famine, death and destruction, because the wickedness has spread everywhere and evil has reached its limits. Thank you, Esau Edom, as the dude in the TikTok kind of pointed out. Therefore, the Lord says, I will no longer remain silent about the wickedness of these godless people. I will no longer tolerate it. They have murdered innocent people, and the blood they have spilled cries out to me for revenge. Just as when Cain slew Abel, Abel's blood cried out, and the same concept. Let's see, innocent people blood they have spilled. Verse 9, let there be no doubt, say the Lord, I will hear the plea of all the innocent people who have been murdered, and I will take vengeance for what for what has been done to them. My people are being led to the slaughter like a flock of sheep. They will no longer have to live in Egypt, right? And you liken that unto to here, Babylon the Great, the deliverance out of this place, the second Exodus, right? Except with the chariots instead of walking out of Egypt, Verse 11, I will use all my strength and power to bring them out of that land. I will bring disasters upon the Egyptians, as I did earlier, and I will destroy their country. The whole land will be in mourning. It will be shaken to its foundation when I, the Lord, strike it and pound on it. The farmers will mourn because their seeds will fail to sprout, and their trees will be destroyed by blight, hail, and terrible storms. And if you don't know what blight is, it's a plant disease. It will cause the leaves to turn yellow and wither, and then the plant just kind of withers away. It loses all the water that's housed in it, and then it just withers away, dries up, and dies. Okay, and then if you think about it, some of these things, these famines and these killing of the plants is also a man-made thing, because these devils want to have control. They want you to eat their pretend food, and they want you to go and depend on them. All right, they want us to depend on he that smote us, but the elect, that remnant, will not do that. And then you also have to have faith that miracles will be worked. As they ramp up on the left, so will the right. And when I say right, I don't mean a political ideology. I am speaking of righteousness and wickedness according to spirituality, according to the scriptures. All right, verse 14. The world and the people in it are doomed. The war will bring their destruction is very near. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Yes, we hear wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, uproars of the people. There's many fires and earthquakes and different things going on already. There will be a great political turmoil. Look at that. With one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government, which there will no longer be free access to the cities, right? And one man shall desire to go into a city and not be able, in the KJV, is how it reads. Because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, total confusion where people live. Driven by famine and terrible sufferings, people will assault their neighbor and mercilessly plunder their possession. God says, I am calling together all the kings of the earth to come forth from the north, south, east, west, and turn back and restore what they have taken. Okay, so what we got, the point in it was down to 19. Okay, and what I also want to do is go to Habakkuk. Yeah, their tongue is definitely falling upon them. Egyptian is going to be against Egyptian. Habakkuk 2. Well, here, actually, what I want to do is read it. You need to, and again, read it in the NLT or read it in the KJV and the NLT and Amplified or whatever, but have it side by side. Go and read through it, a little line by line, right? Line upon line. Let's see, the Lord's second reply. All right, this vision is for a future time. It describes the end. It will be fulfilled. If it seems slow coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not tarry, or it will not be delayed. In the KJV, it tells you it will not tarry. Look at the proud. They trust in themselves, and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to Yahweh, as I stated before, right? Wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest, right? That's easy. This devil never keeps at home. I think this is in the same chapter. They open their mouths as wide as, yes, it is. They open their mouths as wide as graves, and like death, they are never satisfied. In their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed up many people. But soon, their captives will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, what sorrow awaits you, thieves? Now, you will get what you deserve. You've become rich by extortion, which they have. We're linking this unto the Edomites. But how much longer can this go on? Suddenly, your debtors will take action. They will turn on you and will take all you have, while you stand trembling and helpless, because you have plundered many nations. Now all the survivors will plunder you. You committed murder throughout the countryside and filled the towns. Dang it. Oh, I thought it cut off. Okay. Slakia. Dang it. What's all rate you who build big houses with money gained dishonestly? You believe your wealth will buy security, don't they? They're these carnal-minded folks, putting your family's nest beyond the reach of danger. But by the murders you committed, you have shamed your name and forfeited your lives. Okay, the very stones on the wall cry out against you. They work so hard, but all in vain. All right, let me get it in the KJV. We're on 15. So I'll read it. We'll read 12 through 15. Woe to him that built a town with blood, established the city by iniquity. Which, I mean, if you know anything about history, good grief. Behold, it is not of the Lord's host. Is it not of the Lord's host that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity, right? Earth shall be filled with the knowledge of glory of the Lord, and the waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth the bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness, right? And these devils have pushed that Western philosophy, the horror culture, the confusion, just all manner of wickedness and weirdo Greek culture has been permeated throughout this earth. All right, and that is why the evil has reached its point. Wickedness has reached its point, its tipping point, or will have reached its tipping point very soon. All right, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And you're seeing that now. The curses are being turned onto you people, not him specifically. He may not even be an Edomite, who knows? But the nation of Edom. It may be this is heading to you very, very soon. And, the devil, he comes down with great wrath. These devils will come down with great wrath. The enchantments are not going to work as the times pass, or there's nothing left to do but for him to unsheath his sword, all right, and really show his true colors. And what we need to do is to be fully rooted and in full belief. If you straddling the fence, get on one side or the other. Because when this devil really shows his ass, he going to show his ass and there ain't no turning back. And again, I cannot hone in enough that your integrity, our integrity, and our faith and belief in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai must remain intact to the very end, whatever end that is. Whether it's the beaming up on the chariots, or that instant death for standing stiffly for the name, whatever it is. Pray on that, think on it, but also think of victory. Don't worry yourself, but think of it as a victory, which way it ends up. All right, so with that being said, I guess it's kind of all over the place, but I pray that you were edified.